Welcome everyone. My name is Gary Chin. I'm currently the past president of the Sierra Foothill Rose Society, and I am a ARS member and one of the number of ARS volunteers. Today, ARS President Sommers Members Meeting. There will not be a question and answer session today. If you have a question or comments for President Sommers, please enter it in the questions box and President Sommers will answer your question. President
Okay.
Sommers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gary. And I'd like to welcome everyone to 2024 and to our first members meeting of the year. I like to try to host these twice a year as there's many things going on with the American Rose Society. And I'm very thankful that all of you are taking an hour out of your evening to join us tonight. So let's get started. As far as an agenda goes, we will be going through 2023. And really, I'm going to focus just on the last half of the year since our last members meeting. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about our staff and some of the introductions for new staff members. And then we'll go through what's happening in 2024 at this point. Talk about some new partner benefits that are coming, and also really be able to recognize a few people from special ARS awards perspective. And we'll wrap up by talking about some of the programming that's underway for 2024. So let's start talking about 2023. And again, this is really focused on June going forward. As you all know, at our last meeting, we talked about some of the membership changes we were making, both in structure as well as in our fees. And we are about halfway through that in transition at this point. And you'll remember that the transition occurs when you hit your renewal date. I will tell you that most members are just choosing to go forward with the hard copy of the magazine, which is just fine. That it's all member preference, right? So that seems to be what people are choosing. We have had some attrition, but it really wasn't unexpected. Anytime you make a change, you have to contemplate that some members will not renew. So, but we've got our fingers on that. We're watching that very closely. In May, we introduced the QR program, which is with our new posters. I've got a sample of one up on the right-hand corner. And if you've actually used these posters, you know that through Constant Contact, we collect individuals' contact information. We are able to give them a sample magazine, a digital copy, along with some other marketing materials. And I want to make sure that you realize that this isn't just a program for the American Rose Society. It is also to benefit local Rose Societies. So in the last half of the year, as societies have been using these posters, we've had about 300 contacts that we've captured. And then monthly, what we do with those is we sort them down by district, and they are available to our district directors on our board site so that the district directors can download those, and they should be sharing those with all of you so that you can use those as a real marketing tool. Perhaps you want to invite them to your upcoming Rose Show or a special program that you're having, etc. So if you haven't been getting those or you haven't been participating in the program, please do. The posters are available on our website, so you can just download those. I download mine, I took them to a printer, and then I had them laminated so I can use the same posters over and over. It's been really helpful for me, and people are really becoming more comfortable using them. And I would suggest if you haven't, just try it yourself, and then you'll know how it works. And again, 300 contacts in 2023. That's almost twice as many individuals that we were getting through the previous trial program. So I think this is it's something new, but I think it's catching on, and we still need to test how effective it is, going back and looking at, you know, potential members at the local Rose Society level, as well as members for the American Rose Society. So more to come on that in 2024 as we start to work on the analysis. In 2023, we also introduced or expanded the National Traveling Challenge classes. And hopefully your district did participate in those, but if they didn't, You still, obviously they change every year. So every year, each district has the opportunity to have a national horticulture challenge class as well as an arrangement challenge class in their district show, excuse me. So if you haven't seen that happening and you want that that opportunity, just reach out to your district director or perhaps your horticulture judging chair. They are familiar with the program and they can take a look at what challenge classes are available to your district this year. I just think it's something fun and a way to add something new into our Rose shows. I wanted to give a little bit update on our annual fund. And in particular, I do want to thank the 717 members who donated to the annual fund in 2023. That actually included 30 Rose Societies and 9 districts. In total, our annual fund contributions for 23 were $144,000, a little short of budget by $22,000 and $15,000 less than 2022. But you know, close to hitting our budget numbers, really important as we look at funding our operations. Over 10% of our budget relies on the annual fund, which is very consistent with what you see in other nonprofit organizations. And truly, really appreciate the donations that have been made in 2023. We've also had a number of staffing changes. I know that many of you are aware of those. Since September, our staff has actually been running with 10 people, which is about 5 short of what our standard budget calls for. This has had some impact on our performance, obviously, and particularly I think as we look at communication and responses. And I do want to spend just a little bit of time talking about that with all of you to make sure that everybody has a full sense as to what is happening. So as we do that, the first thing I want to do is to introduce our new executive director, Claire Bissell. You might know Claire because she's been our accounting director. And when we went through some of the changes we're going to talk about, the board asked Claire to step up and take on a dual role of interim executive director along with her accounting director role. And she did that for about 4 months and she did a great job at it. So I can't quite see, but Claire, are you visible and would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Diane. So I just want to say really quickly, I am excited to be the new executive director for the American Rose Society. I really appreciate the trust that the board has put in me and asking me to continue in this role. Like Diane said, it has been a challenging few months. One of our big sayings in the office has been, we're in it to win it. And so when those challenges came up, that was kind of the motto that we kept. And we just, you know, that was how we approached everything. And so that's going to be our motto moving forward. We're just in it to win it. We plan to continue to go forward with that. And I just appreciate the board and your trust in me as executive director. And if I haven't met you yet, hopefully I'll get to meet you soon. So thank you. Thanks, Diane.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. You know, I really enjoyed working with Claire. You know, I worked with Claire as the accounting director, but it's been different in her new role, and she really has done an exceptional job. And we're going to talk a little bit about that right now. So in a span of about 4 or 5 weeks this summer, we lost 3 key directors or roles in the organization. We lost the executive director, we lost the membership director, and we lost the director of office operations. Now, they all went different places. They all had different reasons. It was like the perfect storm, right? Not really perfect for us, frankly. And that was followed by about 3 weeks after that, we lost 2 of our 5 garden crew. So that was a challenge, all of that. And when we look back at it, I guess I'm surprised we actually did as well as we did, because because clearly this was something that we lost a lot of bench strength. We lost a lot of knowledge on how things have been done at the ARS. And when you look at the office staff in particular, they have about 2 years of experience or less with the American Rose Society. So I think most of the people on this call probably know more about the American Rose Society right now than the staff. So they have a lot to learn, and they're doing a fabulous job. So as we look at the staff here, I want to first speak about, let's see, Brandy Boudreau. And Brandy, I think, is on the call, and I don't know if she's showing her picture either, but Brandy used to be our event director. And she raised her hand and said, you know, I think I'd like to do the membership role. And Brandy's the perfect person to do that. If you haven't worked with Brandy, I know that you're going to enjoy working with Brandy. But I got to tell you that since August, Brandy has been doing the membership role and the event director role. And that's pretty crazy because she received very little training on the membership side. She had to learn the system kind of on her own. And she was, you know, knee deep in Christmas in Roseland, of course. And I tell you, one of the things that Claire and I talked about early on is that we really did not want to impact our members as we were going through these changes. And we wanted to have a successful Christmas in Roseland. So that was really important. So anyway, I think Brandy has done an incredible job. And this week, Brandy is really thrilled because now we have a new event director. So Felicia has started with us as the event director, and it's actually her first week on the job, right? So now Brandy will be able to, you know, to move off of all the event stuff, and, you know, events at the ARS continue to happen. And she's learning more every single day by the fire hose method about membership with the American Rose Society and how to actually, you know, utilize the system that we have in place. I can't say enough about, you know, her positive attitude through all this. I think all of us would be challenged if we were in that spot. Now, as we lost a couple of the garden crew, Claire and I are like, what are we going to do about that? And we were actually very fortunate to find Kay Cheeseman. And Kay has joined us on a part-time basis as our garden director. Kay comes with a background in horticulture as well as owning her own landscaping company. So she really knows how to manage that garden. And even when we think it looks good to her, it needs a lot more work. So I mean, she has just been a trusted resource in so many ways already. She's just really a pleasure to work with. And we're very fortunate to have Kay join our team. And you might have heard that Don Morgan, our previous garden director, left. He did leave in September. And I'm very pleased to announce that Don is back with us. So this is Don's first week back as well. And we're so happy to have him. And Don does report into Kay. So now we really have we have the same number of garden staff individuals, but we've kind of changed the skill sets around a little bit, and we're going to be in a much better place. And, you know, and frankly, that's all this is about, is taking the opportunity when something this material happens to not try to replicate what was done before, but to look at it and look at how can we do it more effectively and efficiently. And I have to say that is what the staff is dealing with every single day. And they're learning quickly and they're asking a lot of great questions. And then we're trying to make changes. And change is hard. It's hard for them. It's hard for us as members. And so please be patient as we're making those changes. And sometimes we're not getting stuff right. And nobody likes that. You don't like it. We don't like it. It causes us rework. It causes us more time. But that's clearly what's happening right now as we're trying to spend the time to make things right. And as we do that, we continue to identify the skill sets that we need in our organization to move forward. And we're taking the opportunity to slowly fill the org chart in such a way that it benefits the organization. Now, I want a couple other members that I do want to talk about here. Tanya Cole. Tanya has taken on running these webinars for us, so she kind of likes that. She does a great job with that. I also want to mention that local Rose Societies often have new officers that start in the beginning of the year, and you'll want to get that information to Tanya. And the best way to do that right now, frankly, is to send her an email. With our staff, their email addresses are all their first name @rose.org, right? So send Tanya an email with your changes, and then she'll be sure to get those in. That's important as we start to look at various communications that might go out, especially to the president of our local Rose Society. For example, we want to have the right people that we're reaching out to. Jennifer Peace says she's a very creative soul, and my husband and I had an opportunity to get to know her even a little better as we were working the gate together at Christmas in Roseland. I have a whole new appreciation for Jennifer with that sweet smile that went on for hours and hours as we stood there and the cars were all coming into the Rose Center. And so Jennifer's the individual that you'll want to chat with regarding any of the awards things that you're doing, which a lot of awards come up right at the end of the year. That was a new aha for us as well. All of a sudden, we're down 5 in staff, and everyone is asking for these awards. And so that was a huge burden that was just different than out of the normal workflow, and people weren't sure how to do it, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we're working on new processes that make that more efficient. We're working on ways that make it less costly to all of our local Rose Societies. And in fact, some of those have been approved by the board, but we really didn't do a very good job, frankly, in implementing those and communicating those out. Right? A lot of this is about communication when you're making change. So we have more of that to work on, and we get it, and we will. And we'll get there. We promise you that. I think most people know Beth Smiley, our publications director. 2023 has been a very interesting year as we've stepped into more of the digital space, built out our libraries, and Beth's just done a terrific job with that. And Emily Hammond, that works for her with editing as well as social media and website. We are working still on our new website. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So I really thank Emily for all of her efforts to help us with the social media and the website side. And not, again, we have 2 open positions at this time. We're going to figure out what we need, what are the right skill sets. We are very carefully looking at the budget. And from there, we'll make the decisions again that are best for the organization. But this is a slow update because we want to take the advantage of the opportunity, basically. And so as we talk about the staff, I just want to thank all of you for being patient as the staff is learning. Again, Claire's been at the ARS for a little over 2 years. Randy, Jennifer, Tanya, been there less than 2 years right now, right? Felicia's just started. Kay started in September, so we have a lot of new people, but they bring great ideas, new ways of looking at things, and that's really what our organization needs. And so the next time you contact them, and you should if there's a problem, it's something that we will strive to get better. It's not an excuse to not perform, but also please take the time to perhaps thank them for everything that they're doing because they're working really hard on our behalf. So thank you. A few more things on 2023 in review. Christmas in Roseland. With 5 less staff, the ARS staff pulled this off and had the best Christmas in Roseland effort. Extremely proud of what they were able to accomplish. 13,700 people attended the event, and gross revenue, this is from a couple weeks ago, was at $139,000, up from $98,000 in 2022. Even the amount per event night was up. Sometimes, year over year, it'll change based upon how many nights that we have. We actually had a huge benefit from Mother Nature this year. She was very sweet to us, so we didn't have any terrible weather. So that's really, really important. But the team came up with new ideas and new events to, freshen things up, more Christmas lights. We did use an outside vendor to help us put up the lights because we had less staff to do it. But we have over 800,000 lights. Christmas in Roseland, again, about 10-12% of our operating budget every year. And the staff works every weekend from Thanksgiving to December 23rd. So think about all those December parties and events you're at. The staff is working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights to at least 10:30. It also means they're only in the office 2 days a week. So as they're still learning, as we're making mistakes and we're fixing mistakes, there's a lot less time for them to get this work done. So that is something we continue to focus on, and how can we, take some of the staff and let them do their day job more and not have to work the evening, frankly. But the event was wonderful. My husband and I had a great time there. You can see some of the lights on the screen, as well as Claire. She's always had that smiley face on the nights I was there, even though, there'd be all these little problems and things going on. You could tell she really enjoys Christmas in Roseland. Something else you might have heard about is that the administrative building has been undergoing some repair. So those June storms that came through, if you remember, we didn't have power at the center for about 10 days or so. They really did some damage that had to be taken care of. And so we moved the staff out of that building to our Klima Education building. If you have not been to our headquarters, it's all on the same grounds, right? It's just a different building. But they had to move out so that they could clean up the issues. And now we're in the rebuilding phase. All of this work is being covered by either insurance or a generous donation that was restricted and could only be used for this admin building rebuild. So it can't be used for other things. We are very fortunate to have the generosity of members of our Rose Society. And I want to give special thank you to Marilyn Wellen and to Carrie Bergs, who are leading this effort and getting through the cleanup, so that we do have a beautiful building for the future to use for the community and other events. It'll be very nice when they're done. So let's talk about some of the things going on in 24. Well, we've been talking about, we begin with our new executive director. And again, I just want to take the time to congratulate Claire. She's stepping into a lot, and she's just very calm, and she's doing a great job with it. Our triennial election process is underway. So every 3 years, our members elect their district and their regional directors. And they also have the opportunity to elect the ARS Vice President. And then, of course, the ARS Vice President, after 3 years in that role, assumes the role of President. So nominations are still open until the end of January. So please, if you are interested, don't be shy, get involved. It's one of the best things I ever did many years ago, was when people were encouraging me to take on that role as district director. My life has changed forever. I've met so many more people and so many more friends, had so many opportunities. Just do it, right? And if you have any questions about that, you can ask your district director, you can contact Claire, you can contact me. More than happy to help you. Also, ARS, the voting process is all electronic. So it only works if you have a valid email address on file. And we'll be sending out some messaging around that, but it's really important that we have your email address for you to participate in the voting process. The voting process will actually take place in the month of June. It'll be finished by the end of June. So you'll be hearing more about that. This past year, we had a lot of questions on the bronze and silver medals, and I know that we're behind in those as well. We ask for your patience. We are actually working to get a new supplier for our medals, which should reduce our costs to our local Rose Societies. And we really, again, appreciate your patience. And again, we've done a terrible job of communicating this effectively to our members. I do want to thank Dave Dale from Georgia. He has volunteered to help us with this effort. David is a post-military individual. And if you've been involved with the military, you know they get these very unique special coins. And so he has several of those. And he is working with those types of manufacturers to come up with our next medals. And we'll be looking at those as part of our next board meeting and making some final decisions. We also tested a new online process last year to log Rose Show results. I know that's something that many people would like to understand is, you know, what are the up and coming roses? What roses are doing well in the Rose Shows? And we actually haven't tracked this, I think, since Bob Martin was vice president of the ARS. So it's been a while. And we have an electronic way of doing it, and it'll be part of our new website. So make sure that you see that note when it comes through, and please participate. It really enables all of our exhibitors to see, you know, how roses are doing from an exhibition perspective around the country. We also are updating the horticulture judging guidelines, and I guess I forgot to put this in here, but I really want to thank Lois Ann Helgeson and Linda Clark for their efforts. Those are two district directors who have really helped me in suggested edits. And those edits are now in the hands of our district horticulture judge chairs. And we will be meeting in early February, and we'll review them, we'll discuss them, we'll vote on them, and then whatever we approve will then be forwarded to the ARS board for final approval. We've talked from time to time about the Rambler initiative, and the ARS board has approved an initiative to support the preservation of the Ann Belovich collection of Rambler roses. You probably recall we have two nurseries on site at the American Rose Center, and we have about 350 roses, Rambler roses, in the nursery right now. And we all know that to save a rose, you need to share it. Doesn't do us any good just to keep growing these things on site at the American Rose Center. Something terrible could happen weather-wise, and we might lose some of those roses. So we're going to be partnering with botanical gardens, retail nurseries, and special Rambler collectors who are interested in having these roses. And we'll be kicking this off in April at a special event that's going to take place in conjunction with our annual International Rose Trial celebration. This will be the last weekend in April. If that's something that you'd like to participate in, please let me know. The roses should be in, you know, full bloom at the Rose Center, as well as all the Ramblers, or most of the Ramblers. So it should be quite a nice event. And yes, process improvement and cleanup. New staff, new eyes, new ideas. Recognition certificates again, we're going to clean up that process. You may have seen that we're going to start charging for some of our webinars to individuals who are not members of the American Rose Society. The first pilot or test of that will be with our CR schools. Those sessions are being held in February. And really based on some feedback from a few local Rose Societies, we're modifying our insurance renewal timeline so that typically our insurance would end on December 31st. And it was very difficult and challenging time to then get new certificates out to local Rose Societies that needed them for their meetings. And we found we could do this at any time of the year. We didn't have to do it at the end of the year. So we're going to move it at sometime in the fall. And that way we'll be able to facilitate that better. We'll have staff on site. You know, we won't be crossing over with Christmas in Roseland or holiday time for people. So I think this will work out much better. And I thank those local Rose Society representatives that came forward and, really helped us understand what the issue was. Also in 24, we really will launch our new website. I'm kind of tired about promising this and not delivering it to you, but the top banner there, that's from our homepage. And right now we're in the process of loading all of the material and then, testing it and all that kind of good stuff. So we hope to switch over in February for sure. And I really want to thank Central District Director John Riley for his leadership in this effort, and our committee members, Gary Chin and Diane Wilkerson, and our staff member, Emily Hammond, that have been working very diligently on this. We also really appreciate all the committee chairs and stakeholders for their guidance. We're not doing this in a vacuum. We've asked those committee chairs to be directly involved in identifying what's really important. And we're cleaning up and taking out stuff that doesn't make any sense that it's there anymore, and trying to make it so that it's very easy for people to get to what they need. I think that's the biggest complaint. I can't find what I need. So hopefully this will work. And at the same time, we're going to launch a new Rose Forum with the website. And the forum is an opportunity. It's really a Q&A type of forum, so that anybody can ask a question and anybody can answer it. Clearly, this is really something the ARS should be hosting, because we should be the experts on roses. Our members know more about rose growing than most people. And so it's really something that should be had come, I think, for a long time. Special thank you to Don Holman. Don isn't even a member of the American Rose Society, but I actually reached out to him, and he has set up some other nonprofit sites, and he actually set it up for us at no cost. And so now we're in the process of just starting to load some activity into it, do some little testing with it. I really am interested in getting a small group of individuals who really want to take ownership of this. And if something that you'd like to participate in, please send me a comment in the chat box, and I'll make sure that I get back to you on it. It's really pretty cool. New member benefits. In 2024, we actually have these loaded already into my ARS. We have 3 additional benefit partners: Felco Pruners, Heirloom Roses, and Edmonds Roses, all giving 15% discounts. You might remember Felco because last June they did a program for us on how to take apart your pruner and clean it. And I honestly got more positive comments from that webinar than I have from many. And it really was pretty intriguing. And it is out on our YouTube channel, or you can access it through the website. It's something that, as things kind of quiet down for me here in February, I do plan to watch it again and to take apart all my pruners and clean them. Honestly, I thought my pruners looked awful and I'd have to replace them. And he took pruners that looked just like mine, took them apart and had them all clean and spiffy. And so I'm just thrilled to be able to do that right now. And even if it's not a Felco pruner, I mean, they all kind of work the same way. So it's still very informative and something that you can take advantage of. So something to think about if maybe this isn't quite the time of the year where you we can't be out in our gardens, right? I've got like 20 inches of snow right now. But Heirloom and Edmonds as well, great rose suppliers, and 15% discounts. All the other vendors you see here also provide discounts to you. So again, if you're not taking advantage of these, and it's come up recently, just to make sure that you're aware that the American Rose Society is a founding member of the World Federation of Roses. And as a member, all of our members have access to their materials. They've got great newsletters out there. You can get access through my ARS and read them all. Very enjoyable, and read about roses around the world, breeders around the world, really some very nice publications. So again, if this is your downtime, if this is your winter, something else that I think you'll find very enjoyable. And now some very special awards. These are always fun to do. I really had the pleasure of joining the Kansas City Rose Society for their annual luncheon and presenting the Rising Star Award to Taylor Smith. The Rising Star Award recognizes young Rosarians, 45 years of age or younger, that support the mission of the American Rose Society. And Taylor certainly fits that. He's done some really incredible things with the Kansas City Rose Society. I'll read just a couple of things to you. Taylor helped develop and lead the Rosebuds, which, interesting, is a group of 25 to 45-year-old professionals with an interest in gardening, but few community opportunities to learn about it. So they have a huge group of volunteers at this point that really have been spearheaded through efforts of Taylor. The Rosebuds, they were actually a big picture solution to the preservation of their organization and their ability to support the gardens that they do. He also chaired 6 major events over the past 4 years that raised money to support the maintenance and the preservation of their garden. And he brings both new ideas and follow through using as many community connections, which brings in more new faces and more support for their organization. So it was great fun to meet Taylor, and we wish him the best and really congratulate him with his Rising Star Award. If you know of somebody that you think should be nominated for this award, please do take the time to recognize them with a nomination. Nominations are due by July 1st. Information is on the website. We have lots of people that could fill, that have these really great accomplishments and have done so much for us. And there's nothing better than being able to recognize them. And then second of all, I'd like to recognize Jeff Wyckoff for the Blake Hendrick Award. The Blake Hendrick Award is for lifetime achievement in excellence in exhibiting at the national, the district, and the local level, in addition to being a role model and sharing knowledge on growing champion roses. Now, I think most of us know Jeff. Jeff is a former president of the American Rose Society, still very active and involved in many ways. You'll see his columns in the American Rose right now. So again, very well deserved, and really want to congratulate Jeff on this accomplishment. The Blake Hendrick Award nominations are accepted through the end of the year. And again, the information about that is on our website. So if you think that there's somebody else that should be or could be recognized for this, please nominate them. And then finally, we're going to wrap it up a little bit here by talking about our 2024 programs and events. There are more coming. This is just the beginning of our calendar. Somebody asked me the other day, well, you should have the whole calendar done, and you're right, we should. But we do have a lot on our plate right now, and we're trying very hard to get this done for the next magazine. We'd like to have it, available in the magazine, and it will certainly be available more front and center on our new website as well. Interesting enough, we had over 3,700 attendees at our programs last year. So we do know that they are really well received. And, I'm trying really hard to have a wide variety of programs that meet, the interest of various parts of our membership, because we're all different and we have a little bit of different interests when it comes to roses. This Saturday is the first webinar program, if you will, and that's our photo contest reveal that we do each year. So especially if you entered the photo contest, you probably know all about this, and like me, or just can't wait to see who won and if you win, right? And but if you haven't entered, it's really a pleasant webinar because it's just full of beautiful pictures of roses, and it'll give you some ideas too, because I think more people take all these beautiful pictures of roses. You might as well have fun. Enter them in the calendar contest. Add them to, enter them in the photo contests. Have some more fun with them. Our CR schools, again, are in February. That's been kind of a standard time frame for us. And again, we are going to be charging $5 if you are not a member of the American Rose Society. You want to make sure that you follow the email blast in order to register so that you're not paying the $5. So individuals have a special code that will give them a coupon, if you will, so you don't have to pay the $5. If you have any questions about that, though, Tanya can help you with that. In March, we're going to have a program on photography with your phone. Interesting enough, many of the photos that are the winning photos for the photo contest, as well as for the calendar, are taken with phones, right? So, so this will be kind of fun, and Jackie Nye is going to be doing this program for us, and I know she's done it out in her area of the country, and people really enjoyed it, so I'm sure it'll be quite fun. And then also in March, we'll have a program. The title is Out with the Old, In with the New. And this is really on OGRs, Old Garden Roses, which I think is going to be quite fun by a couple of individuals from the UK. So this is, it'll be a fun program. I can just tell from their description. So I'll leave it at that for now. In April, we have a program on growing roses in drought conditions. And this is actually being done by Mark Mason Taylor. And Mark is the 2022 Rising Star awardee. So it'll be very interesting. I think it's going to be very good. And you'll want to listen to this. All of our areas of the country are under very different weather conditions these days. And I'm hearing that drought conditions will continue in 24. So, and then we'll wrap up April with Rose Exhibiting Made Easy by Suzanne Horn. So if you're new to exhibiting, or if you know others in your society that perhaps you'd want to encourage to exhibit, this might be a good program for them. Right now we have June is our Rose Month, and so I have several other programs that I'm working on for the month, but we will kick it off on June 8th with a Rose Growing for Beginner program by Laura Dickinson. And Laura does a great job. She's been a presenter for our CR schools in the past. So I think it's a great way to start the month off by having a general program to encourage all rose growers. Because as we all know, roses they're not hard to grow these days, and there's so many beautiful varieties out there. There's really no excuse not to have one in your garden. And then in October, we have Jackson and Perkins that will be speaking about some of their key initiatives and their new roses for 2025. We have events going on at the Rose Center, a pruning weekend, an Easter egg hunt, the Rambler event that we spoke about, and then of course Christmas in Roseland for next year, I guess for this winter or this December. And we have a national convention in September, and that will be in Rhode Island. I don't think we've ever had a national convention in Rhode Island, so mark your calendar. There is a link to the convention site on our ARS website. They're not taking, I don't think they're taking registration yet, but they will be very soon. So you can find out, there's a lot of details already on that site though, so you'll want to take a look at it. And then finally, this just came across our desk yesterday, but there is a website or an organization, I guess I should say, called gardenmasterclass.org out of the UK. And they do weekly programs and featuring all different types of garden experts. And interesting enough, on February 1st, Thomas Prohl from Cordes is going to be speaking. And we had Thomas at one of our members meetings not that long ago. And he really is a great guy. I met him in Australia at the World Convention last year. And I am sure this will be a very interesting program. So I've looked at it. I believe it's like noon Central Time on Thursday the 1st. if you want to, you have to think about the time zone differences, obviously. But they're also going to have it's free, and they will put it eventually on their YouTube channel in case you can't make the time. But another real opportunity to hear of a breeder from Germany, and we know Cordes has a lot of wonderful roses that we're growing here in the United States. So let's see, I made it pretty well here. It's 6:50. I always promise you that this will be an hour or less. Hopefully, if you have questions or comments, that you're adding them into the chat box, because I promise you I will answer them, and I will send out the answers to everybody that is attending our meeting here. I want to thank you again for taking time tonight. Wish you the best for 2024. Stay in touch, and look forward to seeing you soon at an event. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening.
Well, thank you, President Sommers, for letting us all know what is going on at the American Rose Center and with American Rose Society. Have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.